Alright guys, gonna do a little unboxing video. As you can see, oh boy, yep, you know what that means. Let's get this bad boy up and make sure it is what I say it is. That would be mine. So what is supposed to be in here, which we hope is, the William Optics Fluorostar 91, FLT91. Let's do it this way. Put this over here, spin this back, make it as awkward as possible on video. That'll do. Get this out of the way. And here we go again. All right. Look at that. Man, I hope my wife don't come home when I'm doing this. Alright. See if they sent me an empty bag. That would be unfortunate. Nice padding, as usual. William Optics. Warranty card. And there it is. The behemoth. And just pull all of this out together. Make it as awkward as possible. Look at that. That is a serious case too, by the way. Look at that foam. Oh, you can see it. Thick that foam padding is. I got some screws down there too. Those are, in case you're wondering, those are screws. Seriously nice case. I'll never go in it again. Alright, let's get some of this plastic off of it. Slow as possible for the camera. Yep. Man, I'm telling you, I know this scope's not large for a lot of you guys, but to me, wow, that thing is killer, man. Super nice. I don't even know where to start. Like, I mean, how badass is that? I mean, been waiting a while for that. I mean, it is, the thing is massive. Wow. Killer. Roto lock on the back, which I'll not be using for this, but I have the field flattener as well, which I suppose, if it's in the box, I can open it too. It's the 0.8 reducer. Man, I'm so excited. I'm shaking. Just look at it. Alright guys, so it took a little bit for the flattener to come in, so this is fast forward a few hours. And I went ahead and opened it. The only thing in the box is the flat 6A3 flattener from William Optics. This is it's an adjustable flattener, the focal reducer times 0.8. So your f-stop is going to bump up a little bit, so it'll be f of 4.4 or something like that maybe. I need to check that. So a little bit more speed, a little wider field of view. And for this particular scope, it comes with a new adapter. It's a M92 to M63 adapter. for this new style roto lock, because this is a roto lock designed for a 2-inch angle piece for eyepiece. So I know this flattener is used, can be used on several William Optics scopes, and this particular adapter makes it work for this one as well. They do have a non-reducing flattener. I think it's about $700, so wasn't for me. Not right now. So I think I'll go ahead and take this off. Basically, you just spin the rotor lock off of the back. The little black ring that's with it. It all comes off, and then your adapter threads in its place. And then you got 2 metal caps for your flattener, which is nice. You're going to take your wife's one off. And then it threads directly into the adapter. Sounds legit. And then from there, obviously I don't have a camera, filter wheel or anything on here right now, but you can, I'll have to put close-up shots on this, but there's a little line here that marks millimeters back focus that you're achieving, so you can adjust to the line based on what your needs are for back focus, and lock it in with a ring. So that you can get the back focus right for your camera. Right now I'm just going to leave everything closed up. My cat decided to join the party. One thing that I really liked about this scope is without having to buy any additional adapters or anything, they have a field rotator, and it's all in line. Everything's threaded. There's no compression fitting here. I suppose the rotator itself is in some kind of non-threaded mechanism, but they have a little white indicator here, a little arrow, and there's degree marked all the way around the outside of the rotator. So when you're out in the field and you need to rotate your image, say roughly 20 degrees, it's easy to see how much you're rotating in between exposures, just with that little marker, that's very handy to have. So I like that feature, and I like that you don't have to buy any other adapter, like a flattener with a rotator adapter in there as well. So it's also nice. Hello, Normal. William Optics, I don't know if you've heard of or saw everybody's seen the Red Cat. Well, originally there was a gray scope, and it was the Space Cat. Well, William Optics reached out to me, and they designed that scope based off of Normal and her personality and her gray color. So if you believe that story, you're pretty gullible. But yeah, she's my Space Cat. She's my buddy. So a little bit more about the scope. So I was pretty excited earlier, if you couldn't tell. So Fluorostar 91, FLT91, 91 millimeter aperture, focal length of 540 millimeters, f of 5.9. The entire scope minus the flattener weighs roughly, I think it's 5.5 kilograms, so roughly 12 pounds. Probably a little over. Extendable dew shield, built-in batten-off mask, and a lens cover. Pretty nifty. My old scope, so the first scope that I had in my initial setup, it's actually a guide scope that can be used for imaging, but it's a William Optics Guide Star 61. I'll pull it into view here for a comparison. But the one thing that I didn't like about it is it does not have the built-in batten-off mask. I think it's one of the only William Optics scopes that does it. That bad boy. Nice dovetail on top, you know, pretty standard. Mount in your mini guide scope or larger telescope that you use for guiding into here in this dovetail bracket. They also have a flat piece on this side. There's three threaded holes on each of these bracket arms or clamp arms, so you could fit an additional dovetail bar or some scope rings, whatever you may have. I'm going to try to modify an existing bracket I have or something that comes with it, but I've got a Agena Astro Pocket Power Box Advanced and a stick PC that I'm going to use to kind of build my own ASI air. So I'm going to come up with some bracketry there to mount those up and you know, reduce all the wires hanging off of the scope. So hoping to, you know, make everything nice and neat, and also limit the need to have my laptop out in the weather. Well, not that the scope's going to be out there when it's bad weather, but from being outside all night and the dew and everything else. Little cheap stick PC. Hopefully it's going to do the trick for me. I'm just going to remote in, so that'll be neat. As far as the clamps go, they got some beefy knobs. Look very secure, holding the OTA. The dovetail that it comes with, their saddle, is really nice. They've got the standard, I believe it's a Vixen dovetail down the center, and then it's all molded, and there's a larger, probably, let's see, 3.5 inch wide, 5mm thick flat bar. And I don't know if you can see it. I'll show some close-ups, but you can definitely do some adjustments here on the orientation that you want it, so you can slide it back and forth to maybe do some things to achieve balance, depending on your setup. And they also have these little numbers, so it goes from 1 to 27, not that it really matters, but lines and numbers, so that when you put it on your mount, you know, depending on where like the front of your saddle is, or the front of your clamp on your mount, you can note which number you're at. So, you know, if you take your scope down, or if you take your setup down often, that would be great. You know, instead of taking Sharpies and marking everything up, you just, you know, which number you're at, so that when you put it back, it's going to be that much quicker for you to achieve balance. Built-in thermometer on this side of the focuser. That's pretty standard. I don't know if it's a very expensive thermometer from what I understand. This style focuser is not new, but William Optics has redesigned this 2-speed focuser. So there's some beefy knobs on there. So the coarse focus, I mean, that's 2.5 inch knob, and then the fine focus has a little metal cover, which is nice, with the fine focus knob exposed on the inside. This is the first scope that I've had with a 2-speed focuser. The Guide Star, I've actually, the focus, the fine focus operates by spinning the dew shield. It extends out. It's threaded instead of push-pull like these. So I've never actually used the draw tube focus on it. I've always used the fine focus in the dew shield, and you know, it locks into place. It holds focus really well. So this will be the first time using a 2-speed, and obviously you've got the little locking screw down here, so hopefully that holds well. But yeah, overall, I think with the flattener, like I said, this is the 683, so 0.8 reducer. I think it's roughly 430mm focal length, so you're going to get a little bit wider field of view. The f-stop bumps to, I want to say it's 4.4. I'd have to look it up, and I'll post it here. Like I mentioned before, they do have a non-reducing flattener. I don't know the number on it, but it's over double the price. But you don't lose any focal length. So if you do want to get shoot something a little deeper, take full advantage of the 540 millimeters. That's probably the way you want to go. And I may, bump up to that in the future, because I mean, if you really think about it, if you got this reduced down to 430 roughly, and then if you had the 1-to-1 flattener, so you got a scope that's 430 and then 540 all in one. So that's pretty good range. And then I'm sure that you can probably get 0.7 reducers to widen it up even more. But yeah, all in all, very impressed with the build quality. The guide star that I bought from William Optics it's the same. This one is a lot heavier, but they still, for what they are, they just feel like quality. And you know how it is. If you've ever seen Jurassic Park, if it's heavy, put it back because it's expensive. So I think I'll grab the guide star here and show a comparison. So this is my initial setup. This is the scope that I used. So this is the William Optics Guide Star 61. It's a 360 millimeter focal length doublet apochromatic refractor. It's f of 5.9. It's basically optically it's identical to the Zenith Star 61 from William Optics. The flattener is even the same. They modified it slightly to adjust for the back focus so that you could achieve focus with the scope. Obviously it was intended to be a guide scope, but they used FPL53 glass in this, just like the Zenith Star, so it takes great images. I was a day one beginner when I got this. I've never even owned a DSLR until I purchased this for this scope to take pictures. So size comparison, you can see the difference there quite a bit. You can realistically, I can use this scope as a guide scope for the FLT91. I do have the ZWO mini guide scope with the ASI 120mm. Never guided with this scope because when I originally had this, I had a SkyGuider Pro. I never saw the need really to guide with that with Star Tracker. I know it's possible and you can do it, but I've got a go-to mount now, so a lot of new things coming for me, a lot of learning curves. So yeah, at some point I'm for sure going to do a comparison once I understand and get going with guiding. Does it really matter if you use a small focal length scope, a little mini scope for guiding, versus something like this, which is still wide field, 360 millimeter? Would it improve your guiding? Because this scope's it's not very heavy. Obviously, if you take this behemoth camera off, if your OTA or your if your mount can handle it, what's the difference in guiding that you get with those? So, and obviously, I can still image with it too. So I've never shot with this scope with an astronomy dedicated camera. This DSLR, it's a Canon T3i, it's a little older, but I do have a new mono camera coming, so like I said, a lot of new things, but I've always been interested to see what I can do with this scope with a astronomy dedicated camera. So not only will I have this is reduced down to 430, capable of 540. I've also got this 360 millimeter focal length, so if I wanted to go a little bit wider, I could step into this scope and see what kind of image quality that I can get out of it with a dedicated camera. The FLT, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but The FLT91 is a triplet. It's triplet air-spaced apochromatic refractor. This is a doublet, so 2 lenses versus 3 of ED glass, from what I understand. They both have FTL53, but this one, like I said, being a triplet, it's much heavier. The aperture, obviously, it's a bigger scope, but you can tell a substantial difference even with the camera attached to this one. So all in all, very excited. Looking to get the first light soon. I just got it in the other day, so I'm sure it's going to be cloudy and raining for 6 or 8 years. So we'll see what happens. First light, I'll try to get some video. If not, I'll at least share some images. But I'm looking forward to it. I've got some other unboxing to do. I think maybe I'll video those. I've got a new mono camera, filter wheel, the Agena Astro pocket power box that I mentioned. I may do that as a Astro haul unboxing video. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, I'm just going to sit here and admire this for a little while and start working on mounting it on the new mount that I have too, Ioptron GEM28. So looking to see how it operates. It's going to be my first go-to mount since I've started imaging. So looking forward to it. I'm super excited. Hopefully I can bring some justice to the scopes and build my skill set, especially with processing and with mono camera. That's going to be a new aspect to the processing, but we're going to give it our best shot. So hope you all have a good one. Until next time, peace.